Hello and welcome to Insurance Insiders. I'm Michael Barker, and with me I have Michael Richards, who's the president of Westwood Insurance Group, and he's a specialist in medical malpractice for healthcare institutions. Before we start, if you want to see the full interview, click on the link and join the Insurance Insiders Group uh, because you'll get all the information you need, especially if you're a commercial agent serving the healthcare and the aged care industries. This is invaluable information for you. So click on the link and join the Insurance Insiders Group. Okay, Michael. Um, so today's subject is a lack of markets for independent agents. What do they have to do to be able to operate effectively in the market?
I guess the number one thing is keeping abreast of the marketplace. What carriers are in, what carriers are out, what are they doing with their coverage forms, how are they adjusting their coverages um, as the market fluctuates, um, and that's a lot to do when you're out procuring clients, satisfying clients, and then also um, keeping abreast of what the carriers are willing to tolerate from an underwriting perspective. And so um, the agents tend to be exceptional at the relationship with the client. And what they can really benefit from is the technical expertise between the insurance carrier and the underwriting team. And let's say uh, it's that getting the gap between the relationship with the client to crystal clear communication with the underwriting team so the underwriting team can give them the most favorable terms, right? And then doing that with X number of carriers uh, that may or may not be coming in and out of the marketplace or necessarily be wanting that same risk year after year. So keeping abreast of the marketplace, really, I guess, in the simplest way.
And but are they actually finding there are limitations on supply, that there are fewer carriers willing to take risks, take the to underwrite this
Yes. So
medical malpractice?
it's interesting. Yes. And then no. What do I mean by that? Yes. Uh, Let me think of somebody that just said, "We're no." I wish I had one of my account managers on the phone on the line with us because they'd be able to drop in the carrier name that I'm forgetting here. But let's call it 2 weeks ago in the production meeting, the news was that this carrier X, that the name I'm forgetting right now, um, they're pulling out of the assisted living market altogether. And so
Mm.
that announcement of whether it be assisted living or it's going to be skilled living or it's going to be home health or it's going to be hired and non-owned auto or it's going to be some other coverage, right? Generally speaking, once a week or once every every 2 weeks, there's going to be a, hey, this carrier is getting out of that. So
Mm.
yes, the answer to that. The longer answer is, but at the same time, there's new capacity coming in, which goes back to what's the agent dilemma, right? Same
Yeah.
dilemma that the brokers have, but now you've got a different carrier coming in with a product that may or may not be a plug-in. But how do you become aware of that replacement non-plug-in product, which is probably very useful and could solve a lot of problems, right? And
Yeah.
so yes, there is a exodus of capacity, um, known capacity, which makes it easy because you have an understanding of what you can do with it, and no, because you do have an influx of new capacity. It's just you don't necessarily know where that capacity is yet, how to access it, and and what it really likes.
Mm.
Eh,
Or if they'll actually deal with agents directly, or they will.
They may like the broker market. They may have a wholesale or a broker distribution channel versus a retail distribution channel, which is another limiting factor. If you're not, I don't want to say limiting factor, but going back to your question of what is a challenge for a retail agent, if they're going to sell into the healthcare marketplace, and that is, um, there are a handful of carriers that are exceptional in the medical malpractice space that are wholesale distribution or broker distribution. And the larger retail agents, they know that, and so they know they already have their broker relationship or their developed, and they have their go-to person. Um, Fortunate thing with a lot of things in life, there's always new people coming on board, and they don't necessarily know where to go, and so um, they don't necessarily have a broker in their back pocket. They don't necessarily have that developed
Mm.
relationship yet. They may not be in an office that has a relationship already developed, right? Um,
Mm.
or they may be an office that is not large enough where a brokerage house of a significant size is going to give them much of a relationship. So it really does become important for the smaller brokers, the retail agents, to develop a relationship with a broker that has access to markets.
Yeah. So,
It's been an aggressive, hard or price escalating market, and so everybody has been shopping everything at renewal every year for the past 5 years. It's been a very aggressive market. The pricing has gone up quite a bit, um, which is interesting because when prices go up, that tends to attract new capital and new capacity.
mm,
Not judging, not necessarily long-term capacity, not necessarily well thought out capacity, but when prices go up and it looks the returns, it looks good, that's attractive to some folks, right? But the fact of the matter is it's a hard discipline to have, as I understand, in the nursing home and the healthcare underwriting marketplace. It's a hard discipline. And easy money is easily lost.
well, talking about the plaintiff's attorney, are you finding there's more of them coming into the market? They're becoming increasingly aggressive, that sort of thing. Is that a factor affecting? Um,
Yes. So
like,
population's increasing, they're increasing. You can't drive down. I think it, I I think it's a pollution issue myself because you can't drive down the road and out here
yeah,
without seeing billboard after billboard after billboard of uh, uh, one more aggressive, outlandish attorney versus the next. Um,
yeah,
promise Promising to do to extract their next $1 billion, and you can put them from their 8 billion to their $9 billion mark. uh, i'm 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 exaggerating, but I'm not. I was driving to Chicago and there was a law firm, I think they advertised something like 8 billion it recovered. I think I saw that on Wednesday. Okay.
yeah,
that's a lot
yeah,
that's a lot of McDonald's hamburgers to sell. It is. It just is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, so that population is definitely increasing, like every population. It seems that the competition within that population is intensifying. So the solicitation, again, going back to that passive income, the solicitation to the general population to go to a plaintiff attorney for any injury, that there's a monetization to it.
Mm.
it's insatiable. It's insatiable. And really, you gotta drive down an American highway to just
to appreciate.
ah, it's incredible. You're gonna get a dozen toll-free numbers in a dozen miles.
Are they also seeking out patients in hospitals, or do they have some kind of network? Do you think that who are actually reporting cases?
I think
Um,
I think like any good 100% commissioned uh, uh,
yeah,
um, sales force, right?
yeah,
You're going to be pretty good about finding your leads. You're going to be pretty
mm,
good. Of course, you're going to be pretty good about sourcing those. You're going to be pretty good about determining and developing the right alliances. And so you perhaps could get uh, yeah, as best an inside lead as you could anywhere, hospital,
mm,
nursing home. Um, there's a whole, we don't get involved in it, but there's a whole group of attorneys, plaintiff and defense attorneys that specialize in auto accidents, car crashes. So auto companies, you get involved in a fender bender in the United States, and again, in that, it's almost guaranteed that there's going to be a plaintiff attorney involved in that too.
right. Yeah.
And they know they're calling within a day. How do I know that? Um, my wife was involved in an accident, and boom, the phone was ringing off the hook the next day.
Mm. Um, just going back to the agent and their role in everything. You the these claims seem to take a lot of your time. What does it mean to an agent on the ground when their client is involved in a malpractice claim of some kind? Does it?
Um,
So you're an independent agent. Your
the
client
biggest the
is
biggest
to.
thing is getting it reported, and then communicating. Well, like anything, the policies, that's where the it's ultimately where the policy performs. So it can be the simplest part of the whole deal. And that is you report the claim, and the insurance company picks it up and manages it to a favorable outcome to your client.
Hmm,
You picked a good insurance company, or that was an exceptionally defendable claim, right?
yeah, right.
But that's what you want.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your earlier conversation. That is one of the challenges related to for these retail agents that may or may not have relationships with insurance companies, and that is and the volatility of insurance companies. And we're talking about the insurance companies that are coming in, the new ones, right? It's easy to
Mm,
come in and say, I want part of that, what appears to be attractive business. It's another thing to be able to manage those claims satisfactorily or to a positive resolution. That's a whole other matter. And so really it goes back to what happens to these agents whose clients have claims and they put them with a carrier that was new and cheap, but has a horrible claims system that has a horrible claims management philosophy that is no good for the client. That's a nightmare. That's a problem
yeah.
because now you have um, a client who has claims that are potentially not being managed to their benefit. Um, and the result of a claim that's not managed well is an increase in cost, which ultimately results in an increase in premium. And so while you went to that carrier initially because of a low premium, it's ultimately going to cost you more premium because of some poor performance in their claims handling.
Mm. But as an agent, are you dragged into this process then? What could be a simple reporting issue suddenly becomes a nightmare where you're involved in trying to negotiate something. And
You could be involved in a nightmare that you've set your client up in a challenging claims environment, and they don't like it, and they're calling you constantly because they're asking me too many questions, because they want this, because they want that, because they're denying my claim. The care
mm,
the insured who has challenges with a claim is going to be calling the agent,
yeah,
not the
yeah,
claims manager who's giving them a hard time.
yeah,
It's going to be calling the agent. And so a claim in and of itself doesn't require anything extraordinary from the agent. A a poor claims experience from a carrier will cause headaches for an agent. Yes.
mm. And there's more likelihood of that happening with this environment of evolving carriers, and where you're constantly having to find new carriers for a client and changing policies. There's more likelihood of this kind of thing happening.
The fact of the matter is, if you're an insurance carrier, or if you're, I'm simplifying this, but I go
Mm,
back to capital because it winds up to be capital. So if you're capital seeking to find work in the medical malpractice marketplace, the first thing you have to go after is an underwriter. They
mm,
can underwrite the business, which means somebody that can price out your product and establish your price that you're going to charge per unit. So you're going to go find an underwriter, because as soon as you have an underwriter and you've established a price per unit, right? And you've got somebody that can qualify the people that'll pay that, then you can start to bring in cash flow. So
yeah.
then you're going to go to, well, then you need marketing. And again, I'm making this up and I'm simplifying it. And then, of course, you need management because you're management, right? So you need more management. Excuse me. And it's not until down the road the claims come in. Okay. So we don't need, I'm making this up, but we don't need claims people until later. Even more so, we can contract them. Really. So that's not even a component within your business model that you have to account for if you want to be new capital at work in the insurance marketplace, in the malpractice marketplace. You don't even have to be good at you don't even have to know how to manage a claim. You can contract that out.
Right.
Okay, some are good, some are bad. You know, are you going to go contract the most expensive best, or are you going to go contract the low cost when you're starting out? I don't know.
Mm,
Depends on your philosophy. Depends upon your available capital. Depends upon your marketing budget, perhaps, right? De-
mm,
could depend upon that all-star underwriting team that you're paying.
right. So this would be wha- a reason that clients would be agents would be much better off with working with a broker, where the broker will, well, potentially not get them into that situation in the first place, because the broker knows these companies, these insurers, and can see this potential hazard.
Can speak to it.
Uh,
Some insurance company,
yeah.
can identify it, speak to it, the strengths, the weaknesses, mostly identify it for them.
Mm,
So then let the client make the decision, but with their eyes wide open to why is this less expensive than that? Why is that?
yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense and it's okay and it's perfectly acceptable. There's nothing wrong with it. Why is it? And 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 have that conversation when you're selling it, not to your point when a claim is, oh, why was that insurance so cheap?
Mm,
Is that because my claim because they don't pay claims? Is that why it was so cheap? I guess we should have
yeah,
had a conversation ahead of time, huh? You know,
yeah. Just a reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see the full version, click the link and join the Insurance Insiders group, because you'll be able to see all the videos and also get regular insights by via email. So, it's well worth it if you want to keep informed in the marketplace. Join now.